you facing the squad aren't gone up with Lex as much as just for example. Can you tell us a bit about him?
Yeah, Armstrong, he's an exciting talent. I've seen him a number of times now playing, albeit with West Ham under 23s football, and I think he's been performing very well, scoring goals. I've seen him playing wide left, but I know he can play on either side, and he can also play through the middle as well. So he's somebody that we've had an eye on a long time, and I think it's a great opportunity for him to come in and express himself and show people what he can do. So definitely looking forward to working with him.
Obviously, the team coming back from injury, Presley and Sorelli and Wilson. Imagine in particular with Will, you're delighted to get him back and get on.
Yeah, Will. I think he done his ACL against Leicester. I was watching the game on TV and I felt for him, and it was a nasty injury he picked up. But one thing for sure, I think he showed his character, his resilience to walk through it, and he's back to a really good level of football now, football fitness. He's played, 3 games, 3.5 games at the minute, so he's up to a nice level of competitive minutes in his legs. So, it'd be great to have him on board again. I spoke to him during the week. He's really looking forward to coming in, and I think everybody knows what a potential player he is, because Southampton think extremely highly of him, and so do we. So to bring him in, he's athletic, he can see a pass, he's very clever in possession, and as I've said already, it's just we as a staff, we're looking forward to him coming in.
Just finally for me, what can we expect from these teenage, obviously 2 opponents you've played before? I imagine they've changed significantly since those games the last campaign.
Yeah, they changed significantly. Probably, I think Tonali would be the only player that's involved that was in the last campaign, and the last time we played Italy out in Italy, and we were told it was their under 20s that we were going to play against because of the COVID issue with their starting team, but it wasn't. They brought in players of age at the time, so it's a new group, but Italy would be an excellent team. Believe it or not, I think they're a better team this time around than what they were last time. Like, you've got Tonali, he's more experienced with having a campaign under his belt. He's playing in AC Milan's first team. And you've got a boy Lovato who plays with Atalanta. He was on the bench last night against Manchester United, but he's played in Serie A games. They've Ravella, who plays with Genoa, playing Serie A week in, week out, and there's a lot of players who are playing in their first teams. And as well as that, you've got a couple of Serie B players. There's a boy, and Luca plays up top for Pisa, and they've a midfielder and a wide player, Colombo, who play with Spal in Serie B. So these players, they're playing first team football, so it's a great test for our group, and I think it's a great opportunity for us to match ourselves up against one of Europe's better teams.
John?
Jim,
John, how are you?
Are you both surprised and delighted, or just one of them to still have Gavin Kilkenny? He's been playing really well of late.
Yeah.
For club and country.
Look, I'm delighted that he's with us. I think he's come on leaps and bounds. And it just shows. Playing first team football, how quickly you can develop playing, and the level he's playing at. The Bournemouth there, top of the championship, and he's played a fantastic role in all the games. Now, albeit the last game they played against Reading, he came off at half time, but that was purely tactical, and he was on a yellow card at that time too. But he's, for me, if you would have asked me 3 years ago would I see him playing in that particular position, I would have said no. But you know, he certainly surprised me. But working day in, day out with these players, you know, Scott Parker obviously seen something that he can play in that midfield deeper role, or pivot is what they call it now, and he's done the job excellently. You know, some of the games he's played in West Brom at the start of the season, I thought he was outstanding, and a little bit surprised that when he came back with the 21 side, he was totally left out of the team and the bench, and he was out in the cold for a number of weeks, and he came with us in the last window and continued where he left off. He done well, you know, so looking forward again to working with him, and yeah, I'm delighted that he's with us.
Yeah, Jim, I know this was slightly off topic, but today Shell's obviously announcing a new manager. Most people think they know who it is anyway, but for you, obviously I know you're a Shell's man, and seeing, you know, they went down last season, came back up. Very excited to see how they can go now in the future, and have you seen much of the surrounding topics around it? Because I know you were linked with the job as well.
Yeah, look, I have a deep affiliation for Shelbourne. You know, within a number of years I was playing with them, and you know, I've had a hell of a lot of great memories with Shelbourne, made a lot of great friends, and whether they're supporters or ex-players, and I was there for the last game of the season to see them lift the trophy. So you know, it just brought a lot of things back to myself when I was there as a player. But no, look, it was just purely speculation. I'm in a privileged position, that's for sure, but you know, the name that's cropping up, and I think we're all aware of who it is, and I think it's a great move. I think for our league, for Shelbourne Football Club, we all know who it is, yeah? Is it for sure, or are we all just still speculating here?
I think we'd be
Damien, yeah?
put your house on it, I think.
Okay.
Well, this goes out probably, yeah.
Yeah.
You're here.
Yeah, but no, look, you know, if it is Damien Duff, I think I think it's fantastic for our league, for Shelbourne. I really admire the pathway Damien has taken in his coaching. You know, when he came to Shamrock Rovers 15s, he didn't have to do that, you know, and he decided to learn his trade there. Then he went to Celtic, came back to Shelbourne 17s. He didn't have to do that, but he came back and developed himself even further. And I had the privilege to see him work in the pro license, and I think that's where you get a real taste of somebody's passion and work ethic, and that's what he done in the pro license. Anything that was asked, whether it's assignments, he went above and beyond with that. But with regard to his appointment, I think it's great. I'm delighted, and I think he'll take Shelbourne to another level for sure.
Just keeping with the League of Ireland, you've a lot of League of Ireland players in the squad. How do you kind of compare from the time of you playing to the standard that's there now? I know it's a lot of younger players coming from over the Development League, but surely the standards getting raised every year. That's what it seems anyway.
Yeah, the level of football. I think the whole sort of summer football was a real injection into more technical players being developed, you know, and you see it now. You see, you know, really good services that these players are learning their craft on, and you know, we've got Colin Whelan coming in, Liam Kerrigan coming in, for example, and two technically really good players, and Colin Whelan can score goals, and I think he's in the fourth division at the minute, but I still think he'll score goals, you know, and wherever he goes, because we've seen him in close quarters in training, and you know, it's an art that he has. And with regards to Liam's exciting wide player, seeing him playing as a 10 as well, and again another technical player who I've seen at Sligo many years ago, and I said he's somebody certainly to keep an eye on, and you know, he's certainly fulfilling his promise. And whether the two boys stay at UCD, I don't know, but I think they can certainly play at a higher level.
Yeah, definitely. Well, best luck in the games. I'll be there to support it. Thank you.
Thanks, Liam. Thank you very much.
Anybody else in the live section? Andrew Moore and Louis Watson did what I said, is that injury or?
No, with Andrew Moran, we're sort of I felt it was the best decision to go and play with the 19s. Why? Because for his own development, rather than coming in with the 21s and playing a cameo role in the two games, I just felt to go and to play 3 19s games, in a competitive tournaments, will certainly be more beneficial for him. I went to see him up at his game last night. I went over to Northampton against Brighton. I was delighted to see him playing. He done really well in the Papa John's Cup, and himself, Edmund Ferguson played, and James Furlong played left back too, so it was a good game to get to where the three lads done really well. So with Louis Watson, I think it's, with Will Smallbone coming in, it's a competitive area of the pitch, the midfield section where you've got Gavin Kilkenny, he's playing first-team football. Conor Coventry at the minute, he's in and out, so it's a difficult area to break in, and Louis, he's a talented player, and he just needs games at Derby. And I do think Louis is probably caught between this rock and a hard place where he's involved with the first team a lot on the bench, but he's not playing actual minutes because, fear if he gets injured with the 23s, the first team won't have him. So that's the reason behind those two. Thank you.
Anybody else? Now we'll get to the embargo out section. Owen, do you want to go ahead?
And how are you?
Just back to Armstrong. Was there ever
No, there wasn't a doubt. He's certainly committed to our colours, that's for sure. And then it was just a case that he was probably, his career was like a little bit of driftwood, where he was at Celtic. He wasn't, look, he got in and played a few minutes when I think COVID took over that squad, and he got a couple of appearances, but other than that he wasn't featuring that much. So he done well getting to West Ham, and the games I've seen him playing, he certainly has been a standout player with their 23s, and above all he's scoring goals. He's coming in off the left and scoring goals at ease at the minute with West Ham. So he is a talent, and we've got to protect players like Armstrong, who are creative and talented.
It's quite small in the field. Does that force you to have to play these games?
Force our strategy. Yeah, but it wouldn't concern me. I've seen Gavin going to away grounds where he's playing against people twice the size of him, and he could cope, no problem at all. So size wouldn't be an issue with me in that area of the pitch, But if we talk about set pieces, we've got a few giants there as well, where you've got Oisin McAtee, Jake O'Brien, and Mark McGuinness, that can hold their own against anybody in set piece and duels. But no, with regard to size, I wouldn't, but probably, an area of the game where we certainly need to improve would be probably second phase in that area of the pitch, where balls drop into that area. Can we be a little bit sharper to get on the ball and to keep possession? And that's an area of improvement that we'll be certainly looking at from the last game.
I think that's the way. Is that the way how the football is going now? It's small ball players.
I don't know. It's for me, if you're good enough, you're good enough no matter what size you are. It's I'm not targeting 6 foot players in certain positions if they're able to play the way you want them to play. You know, comfortable at receiving it, comfortable at receiving it under pressure. You know, that's a great start. And then with the likes of Gav, he's got a lot more to that with regards seeing passes. He's very good with regards reactions when teams lose the ball. He can get in and put pressure on at the right time. So, you know, and that coupled with his size, you know what I mean, it just doesn't, you know, bother me or influence my decision on picking a team to play against Italy, who, you know, they'll have a little bit of size in their team, but, you know, it's not to fear.
Wouldn't be a squad
Meepo. Yeah, no, look, Meepo, there's still nothing from Meepo. He's out with Huddersfield at the minute, and I think he's injured at the minute, so he hasn't featured over the last, I'd say, 4 weeks or something. You know, I think he played a 23s game a couple of weeks ago and scored. You know, so other than that, it is where it is at the minute. Okay.
John, thank you.
John, how are you?
Good, and you?
Yeah, not too bad.
Just on the campaign itself, like, you've got the top 2 seeds at home. What do you need from these games to get back into it?
Look, every game we play, we asked the same question before. You know, going for 6 points. You know, 6 points. Are we the underdogs in these 2 games? We certainly are. But look, that's not going to, you know, take away what we want from these 2 games. We're at home. You know, we're playing in Tala. It's a real opportunity for, you know, fans to come out and see, you know, the quality that we have. It also gives them an opportunity to come out and see 2 of Europeans' better teams. And I'm not going to certainly say that we're going to, you know, stay in a low block and hope for a draw. No, we're going out to win these 2 games, and we're going out for 6 points. You know, and you know, if you get 6 points, you're right back in it, And you look at Italy. You know, they drew with Sweden. They just got over the line against, you know, a dogged Montenegro team. But, you know, they'd be favourites to win the group. Sweden drew with Bosnia. Again, they're you know, an athletic team with a lot of talent in their team as well. So we're looking forward to the challenge. But being honest, Sean, to answer your question, we're looking for 6 points. You know, every game we play, and we're looking to win. You know, and are they pressure games? Yeah, they're pressure games. But our players have got to learn to deal with that pressure. You know, and it's part of their development too. You know, to play in these big games and look to get maximum points in the 2 games.
Just realistically, to finish it above one of the 2 of them, would you have to get 1 win at least?
Yeah, definitely. You know, and look, it's, you know, I could see a few twists and turns in the group. You know, Bosnia, I don't think Bosnia have started yet in the group. Montenegro are always, look, I knew they were a good team. You know, they'll be a test for Italy again. But there'll be twists and turns, you know. But you're right, these 2 games we need to beat one of them. But we're certainly going out for 6 points in the 2 of them.
Just on that Montenegro game, I heard your comments afterwards, spoke about individual battles being lost.
Yeah.
You know, like, was that a bit of an eye-opener for your players? Like, maybe you knew a bit more about Montenegro than others did, and
No, it's
on the hop.
No, certainly. We knew what way they'd play. They'd go direct, and they'd try to pick up that ball in the second phase that I spoke earlier on about, and we were slow quite a lot for that. I'd say, you know, we started off the game fine 5 minutes, and then after that we had a period of 25 minutes to a half an hour where we were second everything, and it certainly wasn't like us. And, you know, now all of a sudden you find yourself 2 goals down, and you can't do that at this level. You know, but look, towards the end of the half we grew into it, and second half we were the better team. But it doesn't take away that we got beat. yeah, we're disappointed, but getting back to this whole learning phase for a lot of the players, yeah, that's a big learning for the players, that you've got to pick up those loose balls in that particular area of the pitch and get us playing again. And that's where Gav will learn, Conor Coventry will learn, Dawson, whoever's in there, Ross Tierney, Conor Noss, whoever it is. It's an important part of the game. It's the ugly side of the game, but it's an important part of the game to gain control of the game.
Just finally for me, just to follow on from Owen's, we always ask for someone not here, give you a new name today. Conor Bradley, was he at all potential for you?
Conor Bradley, he's gone up to the north, you know. Look, it's somebody that we certainly were interested in him. Okay, he's, you know, Liverpool are exceptionally keen on him, you know, and our interests were there. We were talking to third parties about him, and then all of a sudden he gets called up into the senior team, and he's played with the North, you know. So it's going to be sort of a long process to get him back, but it's, you know, anybody of that talent, of course, you'd want them on board, you know, but it's just going to make it a little bit more difficult now that he's got a senior cap, you know.
So you haven't given up hope though, you can still technically switch.
Yeah, but there's protocols to that, you know, like obviously the player has to show an interest to come and play with us, you know, and then we can take it from there. So until that happens, you know, it's stalemate at the minute.
Just for you haven't had any sense that there is an interest from him since he's gone into senior?
No.
Okay. He hasn't closed the door either, though, has he?
No, so that's where we're at, you know what I mean? But all we can go by is the facts that he's got a senior cap, and he's been involved with them, you know. So, you know, and you know yourself the politics involved in it. You know, it'd be a big decision.
So yeah, I feel like we'll contact him.
Yeah, look, it's really up to the player, you know, to say I want to come and play for the public. You know.
Dave, just on Northern Ireland, Darragh Burns, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, Darragh's he's keen to play, which is great news. Great news for myself, and it's in the hands of legal at the minute to, and that's just standard procedure to get everything over the line. You know, it's a change of association, and it could be a long process. You know, it was similar to Joel Bagan, you know, who played with Scotland in a development tournament, but, you know, there was a lot of work around that to get him over the line, and he eventually did. So Darragh Burns, it's certainly we're in the process of getting him over the line. And look, as I say, he's done fantastic with Pats. I think Stevie O'Donnell and staff have done amazing work with him, and you could see the byproduct of their work on the pitch with St. Pat's, and you know, the sooner it happens, the better.
Just like this, if you have been coachable in the squad now, or?
Okay, again, it's you know, he's been doing well. He certainly would have been there or thereabouts, you know. But, he's somebody that can go again for the next campaign. So I think it's he's an exciting player to bring, you know, that's for sure.
And then just, you mentioned Colin Wade earlier, and you played JJ Devon in the game stuff from off the bench. Are you still kind of undecided through your options?
It's you know, each game it's got its own merits, and you know, sometimes you're thinking maybe too deeply about things, and you know, maybe one game where we're going to get a lot of crosses in where JJ's quite effective. You know, other teams, you know, one of the strengths Evan has is he can hold it up, he's strong. And, you know, you look at Colin Whelan, and he's got an array of strengths. So, you know, they all bring something different to the group. And have I got a nail down number 9? Not yet, but look, they'll all be given chances during this campaign. So yeah, he could play up there, but look, effectively, you know, for us, he'll be out wide, you know, whether that's on the right or the left. But who knows? You bring him in training, you know, you play 11v11 games, you throw him up top as a 9, you might see something, but you know, realistically, he won't. You know, we'll be bringing him in as a wide back.
You've had a few damage since fair happening too. And is Connor still at the normal penalty?
Connor? I'd have no qualms if he stood up and said he'll go again with it, you know. It was disappointing. He was devastated at the end of the game for missing it. Anybody would. But if somebody, you know, whether it was Tyreek or Conor Coventry stood up and said, look, I'll take the next one, I'll be happy with that.
And just one more finish up. You mentioned kind of the Italian players that went to Serie B and Serie A. I came from 9 or 10 players that were playing their first team football here at various levels. Would that kind of influence your selection anyway? That they are a bit more power?
Yeah, I think playing first team football, it's, you know, it certainly is. It's a huge thing. Why? Because the intensity that they're playing at, they have to make decisions. They're being challenged technically, physically, whether it's League 1, League 2, or the Championship with a couple of our players. So that has a huge bearing on selection, you know. And then, you know, you've got like Oisin McAtee, who went up to the Scottish Championship on loan. You know, Will Ferry's gone to League 2, Tyreek League 2, and you know, decent levels for them, you know. But really, when you go there, it's not enough to go there. You got to go there. You've got to, you know, play week in, week out at the club, and because these are all coming from Premiership clubs. So for me, my idea would be when you go on loan, you play, you know, a real sort of part in the team, that you're not going on loan playing a big part, you know. So that's important as well. I think that the nature of the club, the style of the club that you go to is also important, that you're not going, you know, to a club that doesn't suit your own characteristics. So, you know, that's important when you're going out on loan. But yeah, again, just to answer your question, it does play a big part for me. You know, are you playing at a competitive level? Because we ask our players to play at a high intensity with them without the ball, and in order to do that, you've got to be used to playing at that intensity, and that's what first team football brings you. Thank you.
I'm fine.
No good? Is that one? Oh, one final question, sir.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, the night before last.
You spoke a bit about his other Has he given any indication that he would run up for that?
No. He certainly hasn't when he was in with us. But again, I made the decision to make sure that he gets games. You know, we played against Sweden in the last window for Tom Mohan's 19s, and this window he'll be involved in the qualifying phase for the 19s. So I think that's the way to go for him, you know, to get those minutes in his legs at international football. But again, look, if something happens to one of our centre halves, you know, on the build up to the game against Italy, I'd have no hesitations in bringing him in, because he's great to have around the place, but above all, he's a very good footballer, you know.